What's up everyone, it's Sprometheus, and today, finally, by popular demand, I'm going to be taking a look at the Cafelat robot. And unlike many other espresso machines on the market, whether manual or automatic or whatever realm they seem to fall into, this one is a one-man show. A guy named Paul Pratt hand makes, assembles, and tests each unit before shipping, which is a rare type of craftsmanship you don't really see much these days. And surprisingly enough, as we as a species tend to push more and more towards automation, there seems to be still a growing popularity of these manual hand-pressed espresso machines. In some ways, I can see why. They're simple mechanisms with very few moving parts and cost less to maintain and run over time. But they can also be somewhat tricky to dial in, and they can require more time and effort to operate, and the consistency relies on something inherently inconsistent: a human. And since I'm a little bit behind the game on the Cafelat robot, it's been out for quite some time now, I took a look at a lot of videos online to see what other people were talking about to make sure you're not looking at this same video twice on different channels. So I've decided to skip the unboxing, the magically perfect first pull, and just take you on my journey of figuring out how to get the best possible shots from the robot. Plus I'll talk about what I like, I don't like, and sort of wrap everything up in a nice little package in my final thoughts section. But anyway, let's get this Spro on the road. See what I did there? Having used a few other hand-pressed espresso machines in the past, I felt like I had a pretty good grasp on how to get the most out of this machine. One of those things being the importance of preheating. So I started by preheating both the portafilter and the basket on top of the steam release on my kettle. Some even go as far as preheating the actual piston that's pressing down on the water and the coffee, but I decided not to go that route because I was pulling so many shots back to back, the piston didn't really seem like it was taking much heat from the water because it was already pretty warm to begin with. Also, on other hand-pressed espresso machines, I found the best results in the cup by doing a slow ramp up in pressure, starting at the bottom, working my way up to 9 bar, and then kind of just holding it there through the duration of the shot. But on the robot, as shot after shot ran relatively quickly and came out watery and thin, I did what most of us would do and started finding out my grind. Even after continuous grind changes to try and slow things down, the results only made marginal differences in the taste and the extraction percentages, taking it from just over 16% to about 18%. At this point, I decided to use a coffee lifeline and reach out to a couple fellow coffee nerds who I know have been using the robot to great success for quite some time. After a quick chat with Grant and Doug, I was able to find out that the robot suffers from some pretty serious puck lift issues, especially when ramping up slowly. This is exactly what it sounds like. The puck basically lifts from the basket, allowing water to rush below, hence giving me those fast and watery shots, including some obvious channeling. Once I switched up my method to that early hard press, going to about 8 to 9 bars right away and holding for about 10 seconds, I found the robot really hit its stride and I started to get some great shots. To make this work though, I also had to go backwards and coarsen up my grind quite a bit, essentially almost all the way back to where I pull shots on the Linea Mini. This is because I wanted to hit that 8 to 9 bar peak pretty quickly and be able to hold it for about 10 to 30 seconds with minimal dripping. As the espresso begins to flow freely, dropping the pressure to about 6 or 7 bars allows for a nice even finish to the shot without much strain needed on you or the arms of the machine. From here, all the shots ran consistently and smoothly with lots of tiger striping in the crema. There was also a major shift in the taste. They were much sweeter and denser and had much more texture than the technique I started with. They also showed a significant jump in extraction, with many of them well over 20% and peaking out at about 21.42%. There's a lot to like about the Cafelat robot. The first thing I noticed is a distinct lack of plastic. There is literally not one plastic piece on the machine itself. The fit and finish is also very nice. Everything feels very sturdy, which is massively important with a mechanism that you're literally going to be up close with, as it creates 9 bars or 131 pounds per square inch of pressure. Having the confidence it won't blow up in your face makes the experience of making espresso much more enjoyable, at least to me. Also, I always appreciate a company that sends spare parts, especially those that suffer from wear and tear. The shots produced from the robot are also very nice, but they lean more towards density and texture than they do towards acidity and clarity, so depending on what you like, it may or may not fit the bill. Its footprint is compact and it's easily moved and stored when counter space is at a premium. Having a true portafilter also makes cleaning and making multiple shots so much easier, and this is often a huge slowdown factor when it comes to other manual machines. I know I'm going to catch some flack for this, but honestly, the aesthetics of the Cafelat robot just aren't for me. I feel like it's an acquired taste, like the caviar of hand-pressed espresso machines. The angles of the levers aren't all that ergonomic and are awkward to hold and press for extended periods. The portafilter itself has no tactile feel when locking it into place, and it even feels slightly loose and wobbly once fully torqued. The pressure gauge on the barista version faces straight forward, which makes it difficult to watch and utilize during your shot, and equally hard to film. The tamper it comes with is actually very nice in build, but it's very awkward to use since the baskets are very deep. This means applying even pressure is difficult as you can't actually visually verify what's going on inside, and it makes it more of a guessing game than I'd like. This issue can get fixed by throwing some money at it and buying their $70 self-leveling tamper. Like all hand-pressed espresso machines, heat retention is a major struggle. Warming the basket and portafilter is a must in my opinion, but the walls are thin and it drops heat quick. Near boiling water goes in, but through the process it loses roughly 50 to 70 degrees by the time it ends up in your cup. Espresso is a finicky beast, and hand-pressed espresso machines make it all that more finicky, but I was very impressed with how consistent once it was dialed in and I understood the process that the Cafelat robot actually is. In the realm of manual espresso machines, I think it occupies its own space. Its production, its looks, and its espresso are all significantly different than its direct competition. The Cafelat robot is aimed securely at a demographic that appreciates the hand-built vintage charm of its body and aren't afraid to pay a premium for it. The barista version of the robot, which is what I use in this video, also includes a pressure gauge and it'll cost you a hefty $450. And the standard version of the robot without the gauge will still cost you a pretty significant $400, which means it's about $100 more than its nearest competition with the Flare Pro. And of course, speaking of the Flare, I'm sure you guys are all wondering how it compares to the Flare espresso machine, and don't worry, I will feed you baby birds, but this time you're gonna have to wait a little bit longer while I work on that comparison video, but that'll be coming out within the next month or so. And while we're on the topic of the cost of the robot, I want to do a quick thank you to my Patreon supporters who helped me purchase this machine for these reviews. I've been looking forward to working on this machine, and I couldn't have done it without your help. But I think that's all I've got to say on the Cafelat robot. And now I want to hear from you. What are your thoughts on the robot? What are your thoughts on the Flare? What are your thoughts on manual espresso machines in general? Are they good? Are they bad? Are they meh? Let me know those things down below in the comments, along with any other comments, questions, or concerns you have that are hopefully coffee related. And as always, I'll see y'all next week. And a big thank you to my November Patreons, Ads, James B, Jacob P, David W, Christopher, John K, Squeegee, Ro, Brian, Lisa, Obo, Andre, Rick Racer, Sean Noel, Spookus, Bound Coffee, Mika Samantha, Claire Steven, James K, Josh, Andrew Horrison, Bobby, Corey C, Curry, Jeff Roth, Joey N, Ninja Warrior Coffee, Testing 123, Jason C, Jerry, RD, Tim, Matt, Tony, Zachary V, Tyler F, UK Espresso, Robert Underdunk, Jeffrey R, Oliver L, Thomas B, Daniel P, Mike B, James S, Brian M, Brandon B, Tyler M, and Sebastian. And of course, a big thank you to the barista and barback tiers. If you want any information on my Patreon, there's a link in the description and in the upper right hand corner right now. And of course, a big thank you to you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Hit that little bell button for notifications of new videos posted every Friday. Follow my Instagram at Sprometheus for content throughout the week, my blog at Sprometheus.com, my coffee at littlegiant.coffee, and as always, stay caffeinated. Pony Boy.